Now, I have had my MT09 over 5 years now, and in that time, it has never disappointed me. It's never let me down. I expected a certain level of performance when I bought it. It totally exceeded it. I wasn't crazy about the original look of the bike. It had kind of a look of younger people would like more than older people, but I customized it to suit my needs, and that didn't disappoint me either. And the performance, that's the best part of the whole bike, is jumping on the saddle, grabbing a handful of throttle, looking for an open road, and using that quick shifter every chance you get. I even made some custom carbon fiber parts from scratch, like the seat pillion. Now, I did most of the mods to the bike in the first 2 years, but since then I've done other stuff. And right in the beginning, all of the things that I wanted to do were cosmetic to suit me. I didn't even think about touching the engine or buying an aftermarket exhaust or any of the things that younger people would find attractive. Because number one, I had to keep the bike that I could ride it in the area where I enjoy riding, about 30 miles from my home. That's some places there, they are very noise sensitive. But I really did right in the beginning. I made a list of things I wanted to do to the bike, and one by one I checked them off the checklist. It took about 2 years, and I had the help of John Pothier along the way, and it was quite an adventure, and it's all documented on my channel. One of the things I fell in love with right in the beginning of owning the bike, and I was not disappointed, was the sound. Now, I have to admit, I like a bike that at idle is really quiet. I don't want a bike that's sitting there sounding like a steam engine or anything. I want it to be quiet, because where I have to go through these areas, and if you don't attract attention to yourself, it seems like you can get away with murder. The minute you make a bike loud, or if we have in our group ride one loud bike, the whole ride changes. It's amazing. But anyway, that was one of the things I wanted. So what I did, I made a list of the priorities of the bike, and one of the first ones was to polish the exhaust. I made a video on how I did it relatively easy without taking it off the bike. Now, an MT09 does not have a muffler. It's only got a catalytic converter with baffles. And so polishing it up was like half of the work of doing any of the big bikes like the R1 or anything. And the fact that the exhaust is right out in the open where you can get to it, and if you wait until the time you have to change the front tire and you polish it while you're changing the front tire, and the wheel is off the bike, it makes it even a ton easier. But that exhaust system is a special part of the MT09. I know people like loud, more volume in their exhaust systems, but this one, to me, because it's quiet at idle and it howls like crazy at full RPM. Now, among the things that never disappoint me, the traction control on this bike is really good. It's the only bike I have with traction control. The ABS, I can count at least 3 times that I think I would have been in trouble if I didn't have ABS. And with deer, and even with one time with a bear. And the drive modes. The drive modes, when you have to come back in the rain, it's so nice to throttle it down to the rain mode and not have to worry about little step outs and everything. And of course, the biggest thing, the quick shifter on this bike is to die for. I have had more fun with that than anything. Now this is the lower end version of the MT09 for 2020. It does not have Öhlins forks, shocks, any of the upgrades for that year. But what it does have, adjustable forks, and I have played with them endlessly trying to get them to suit my needs. The roads where I ride are relatively bumpy and slippery. If I were doing all of my riding on highways, I may stiffen it up a little bit. I've experimented with lowering the forks, raising the forks, gone back and forth. I have plenty of videos out on the channel. All you need to search the channel for lowering the forks. That's a very popular video, by the way. Polishing out exhaust. What a labor of love. As I oogle a bike, the scoops, when they were flat black and they had the stickers that went backwards, I don't know. Every little piece of the bike I've tried to upgrade. I made several little carbon fiber parts that go on the sides of the frame. I made the carbon fiber from scratch. I wanted it to be exactly the color blue. Dennis mixed the paint up, an exact match for Yamaha paint. And it was, every time I painted something shiny or even more shiny blue and buffed it out, I liked it better than the flat black. Now all those little covers, making them, even the small one by the rear foot pegs, the seat, all of the parts around the seat, even a little screening, the screening in the seat matches the screening in the front scoops. And when I made the rear pillion, the seat cowl, that's out on the video, every step of it, even right from laying out the carbon fiber and, well, I don't want to belabor that. That was a labor of love. But boy, is that to me the cherry on the sundae. And painting the wheels, I did that in the middle of the winter when it was freezing, and I don't regret 1 minute of it. Every time I stand back to take a picture of the bike or a video, I think how much nicer it looks with those high gloss silver wheels than it did with the blue wheels. But obviously every step of that, all of that is in the eye of the beholder, but I do like it. Now talk about things that don't or have not disappointed me. The day we picked up the bike, and I went around the block a few times just to see if I needed to move the bars forward or back or the seat, I was shocked. Number one, it is as if Yamaha had built the bike for me. I have never even loosened the bolts to adjust the handlebars. I've never even adjusted the levers. They had me in mind, somebody my weight, my height, and my feet just drop right onto the pegs. Unlike some of the bikes, even bikes in my collection, where you wish you could move the pegs an inch forward or an inch down or something. This bike, and I'm very lucky, it did not disappoint me at all. That was one of the selling features when I bought the bike, and I was sitting on it back and forth with the KZ900. I like the seating position on this better. I like the fact, I love the fact, that this bike feels so light, even when you sit on it and you can put both feet on the ground. It just feels comfortable. It had a feeling of that the bike was made. They used me for the crash dummy when they designed the bike. And one of the biggest parts of my riding that I am very, very conscious of is not getting tickets. I go out to this area where I ride. Law enforcement is very low. I think they're super, super low if your bike isn't loud, and super, 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 super low if you're not dressed in a red suit with a red bike and a red helmet. I try to blend into the scenery, and of course, always as my backup and that Valentine radar detector has paid for itself so many times over. Thank you, Mr. Valentine. Now, at the end of every ride, I try to just cruise the second half of the ride, second, third, and just enjoy the scenery, because this is such a beautiful place to ride. And it is 30 miles from my house. It is a ride out there and a ride back. Tends to wear out the middle of the tires, but so worth it. And as I think about all the rides I've had on this bike, it's time to get back to the farm. Every time I ride the bike and I make it home safe, I think of all of the things that have gone into this motorcycle, and of course starting with the radar detector, and all the time I've spent with making custom parts, buffing paint, polishing exhausts, doing the tail tidy. The Graves tail tidy, I did not even mention that, and that was a major thing. I thought that was going to be a 1-hour install. Boy, it is anything but. And removing those old parts off the bike, as I look back, I should have done it sooner. That is a major job. If you are considering doing a tail tidy for an MT09, check out the video I have on the channel doing it before you make a final decision. It's quite a big job. But polishing exhaust, relatively easy, especially if you have the front wheel off, even if you don't have the front wheel off. But all of these things are just little details, and I always think the sum total of 100 little details, the scoops, the screening in the scoops, the lettering, the shiny black around the headlights, and the windshield. I did that windshield over and over and over until I thought it was the right angle, the right height, everything. The little wings that are on the edge of it, it's all small little details. And when I was done, and I feel like there's not a whole lot left I'm going to do, maybe a few more things, but I've not been disappointed by any of them, because in the end, I have a bike that I'm going to keep for the rest of my life. Now, if you're new to our channel, we have a very, very eclectic channel. One of the new features we have now is some of the videos are grouped into groups that you can access all the videos for one category in one mouse click. And it should be very convenient and very handy. Just check out the feature on the main screen, playlists. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. We appreciate your support, and it makes this channel possible with all the things we do, the painting, the wheels, the polishing. And please take a second or two and hit the like button. And thanks everyone for watching.